leaving Bourke as we set sail for Broken Hill. A couple of days in Broken Hill and a few stops along the way. So we head out of Bourke, back past the cemetery, past a bit more cotton country with the bales still sitting in the paddocks. Not sure who owns which bits, but some more cotton country. And our first stop's Cobar, where we visit an effluent disposal point and then have lunch at the big Cobar sign, Cobar town sign. Everybody's photographed it, everybody's put it up on the web. I'm just doing that. But of interest is, well, I think anyway, years ago I dropped the hard drive, not far, just dropped it off the bed, didn't hook it in properly. Well, I didn't lose everything. I paid $1,500-1,600 to recover the data. Never got it all back. Got a bit of it back. Guy did a pretty fair job. I don't think there's anyone else better in Queensland that can do it. They do all the forensic police work. But this is one of the ones I lost. I pretty much lost everything out of Cobar, actually. This is a little replacement on another murky day. I probably haven't done this that well. Always feel the pressure when I want to be somewhere. I'll put that pressure on myself. It's a little bit of fuel in Cobar. There was a bit of a report a few days later that Cobar was having trouble with water in fuel. Fortunately, not at the service station we visited. We're running through some pretty heavy-duty goat country now. Goats are an interesting animal, and more on them later, and where they rank in the stupidity levels with kangaroos and emus. I see the average goat carcass in Australia in 2022 is about 19 kilos, yet just over 20 kilos in Victoria, with a meat yield of about 76%, which is not too bad. 24% can get turned into tallow and meat mill and things like that. Byproducts. We sailed down that barrier highway. We thought Emmdale was probably the place to stay. Service station along the barrier highway. It's 319 k's from Bourke and 298 from Broken Hill, so kind of in the middle. Bit of a camping area down the back. Night 6 at a small outpost called Emmdale, along the road between Cobar and Broken Hill, Cobar and Wilcannia even. Now this place got everything you could possibly want. Restaurant, fuel, bar with TV, because you won't get any here. A large forecourt, camping's not too bad, down the back there. Across the road you get the National Park and an airstrip and a fire brigade. Could not ask for any more. Fuel's reasonable for out here, 210.9 in the current environment. What's that say there? 206.9 for unleaded. Of course, the place is for sale. Oh, you got shitters and showers as well. Hard to beat the facilities. Some big trucks parked here at times. Or some big trucks parked here last night, depending on what part of the logbook cycle they're in. And of course, we've got the Telstra used to be a payphone. Of course, there's no phone here either. Station, sort of a restaurant, sort of a bar. They call it a motel. It's kind of a donga with 5 air conditioners, but it's fine. You can lay your head down if you're weary. Big forecourt, lots of truckies would spend time there. 2 or 3 spent the night there while we were there. It rained while we were there. Crossroads National Park, bit of an airstrip, rural fire brigade. Stormy all afternoon, stormy night at Emmdale. $10. Shitters, showers. If you're one of the early ones in, we have power, but I don't think we would have anyway. It's pretty happy down the back with the goats. Interesting animal, the goat, as I've said. Fences don't seem to stop them. They jump, they climb, they eat almost anything, and they stink. Goats of all colours, shapes and sizes. Bearded, unbearded, something to meet everybody's expectations. And there we are, our spot for night 6, I think. Quite pleasant. It's an uneventful night at Emmdale, but I do like the perverse and the outrageous and the odd. And I've got a collection of pictures of cricket pitches. So this one's got a few bits and pieces that would make a ball deviate. One of the features here at Emmdale is a cricket pitch. She's developed a few cracks. It'd be interesting seeing what the performance of the ball would be off some of those cracks. Not quite as bad as Batuta. This one here on a good length from the northern end is pretty lethal looking. Of course, there's a few obstacles, trees. I don't know what rules you'd be playing. Tree on the full and you're out, something like that. But nothing like this one at Batuta. And I wasn't taking any video when we went to Batuta, but this one's a cracker. And they still do have an annual cricket match on this cricket pitch in Batuta. We were there at one stage when they were preparing for their annual charity match. So on the radio, we heard about a guy, Dr. Peter Hill, who had a stroke. He was walking from Broken Hill to Walgett, which is about, I wrote that down, 800 plus kilometres depending on which way you go. Now he was doing this particular walk. It's not his first and probably won't be his last, for small forgotten charities. Forgotten's probably the wrong word, but small, not so prominent charities. We sailed past him and it was a cold, windy, stormy, rainy sort of a day. He looked like he was setting up camp or breaking camp, and he wasn't carrying much. Near little Topar, poor bastard, felt like stopping and giving him a blanket. Anyway, our first stop was Wilcannia. I stopped for one of those super cheap coffee freshen-ups and a whiz. Wilcannia, New South Wales. Diesel, 2 clams and 40 cents a litre for distillate fuel here. That's outrageous. There were a lot of vans in and around Wilcannia. As you can see, just that little short video there, everywhere. And then a little bit further down the Barrier Highway, whatever distance that sign says from Wilcannia and Broken Hill, we had lunch. Wonderful cloud day, all day. This one was. So we made our way out to the racecourse, which is where we had decided to stay. There's a few places to stay in Broken Hill. We chose the racecourse. I think that was $40 a night. We went for 2 nights to start with. Went and got set up there. Headed down, went for a bit of a walk around the shop. Saw our first ever Sturts Desert Pea. We didn't see any more on this trip either. This very interesting space type thing, but it's just an air traffic control. But we won't want to get caught in there or doing the wrong thing around it. You may get shot. Only had the phone, didn't have the big camera, so don't have any decent footage or pictures of that. So we went down to it had a long name, what was it? The Democratic Social Club for dinner. And it was spectacular. And at my age and current level of activity, I mean, I still walk 4, 6, 8 Ks a day, but not doing a lot of physical work. And the meals that come out sometimes are just too big. So it was good to see you get a half portion for not quite half price. The price is not an issue once on the side of the pay for something. That's how it is. But I went for the smaller portion at $15 and my wife went for the large portion at $22. It was that big, she felt crook. The next time we visited, she also went for the smaller portion. It seems that there's one race meeting a year at the Broken Hill Racecourse. Very historic town in Broken Hill, where BHP started, and there's plenty to read on that. I'm not going to run through those stories. Everything you see says you got to go to Silverton. So Silverton was high on the agenda, and to Silverton we did go, which is, I think it's 25 k's further west, and I think Silverton has a population today about maybe 50. Everyone said you got to eat at the pub. I also learned there was a bakery out there, so it's always a toss-up for me. But anyway, the bakery was closed on the days that we've got there, on the days that we were there, so it was a no for the bakery. And at the pub we did dine. It was okay, because I've been hanging out for a hot dog for a while. I'm a simple man with simple needs. Of course, there's a bit of Mad Max 2 shot in the district, along with other things. And they used to have a replica of the real Interceptor out the front, but it was sold, I don't know, some time ago and moved. And now they have this Volkswagen that they've christened the Interceptor Love Child. And the full story is on the graphic. I'll just let that float around there for a while as well. Because the pubs at Silverton's are also for sale, Ned Kelly makes his second appearance, second incursion of the trip, but certainly not his last, at the John Dinan Gallery. Very colourful place. Town. The cafe down past the Mad Max Museum. Interesting bit of pallet use. But I wonder, do they know that somebody pays for those CHEP pallets forever and a day? Forever and a day. Have a look up how CHEP pallets work. One of the great business models of our time if you're on the receiving end. Now the wind, it was just windy and murky out at Silverton. Well, Silverton, Broken Hill, everywhere. More on the wind coming as we enter South Australia. Silverton kicked off its life with the discovery of some silver deposits, but those deposits were soon overshadowed by the ones at Broken Hill. Silver was first discovered out there in 1875. Silverton remained a tourist attraction. We also headed out to the Monday Lookout, and out there somewhere is where the Monday Bash occurs. I know not where. Certainly were coming across a number of people that had been to the Burnsville Bash, and you could tell this in two ways. The amount of mud on their cars, because it did get wet at the bash, the Burnsville Bash, or the merchandise they were wearing. And school holidays around the place were kind of finishing up. I think Queensland had finished, New South Wales was finishing, and South Australia was about to finish. And then of course you got the Mad Max 2 Museum at Silverton, privately owned. A few other remaining bits and bobs, buildings, the jail, a few signs around town, information centre up there. Of course, Broken Hill's got the usual touristy stuff. You go up on the hill or the mountain, great view out over town. Again on a murky day, got the Miners' Memorial up there. Restaurant up there was for sale, or the lease was for sale. A few bits and pieces floating around from mining from old days. I've actually got a couple of these plumb bobs in the stuff I got out of my old man's shed when he got called by the Reaper. That's the Grim Reaper. course, the historic buildings in Broken Hill. So we had a bit of a, I don't know, I think 4, 5, 6 kilometre walk around town. Bit of quick photography, bit of quick video work, which I'll share here, of course. And we visited Bell's Milk Bar, one of those authentic old places from maybe the 60s and the 70s. Kind of a bit happy days-ish, I guess. But there is nothing like drinking a milkshake out of one of those old stainless thingamies. Not that we did while we were there, but I do remember it when I was a kid. So that was Broken Hill, Silverton. It's a bit of an uneventful, I like uneventful, I don't like drama. So an uneventful visit to Broken Hill in reality. And next I'm going to talk about 2 small regrets we had at the Broken Hill juncture of our journey, for want of a better word. But I'll break it into 2 because it'll be too long if I put it all in this one.